Random thoughts, and this is actually another random thoughts. So there is a dilemma that I'm running into, and it's becoming very clear as I get more comments from people um, regarding the topics that I cover, especially the stories that I get from the texts that I read. And so many, and this is not just about the book I'm currently reading, and that is The Bantu Beliefs and Magic by C.W. Hoblis. It's about almost every other text that I've read and then created videos about. And people make their comments like, that book is wrong about this, that book is wrong about that, this is not what it is actually. And yeah, it is a fact that it does not matter what text you read, it's bound to have errors in it. It doesn't matter how the care that the writer took to do research, they are likely to make mistakes. And there is also, of course, the other aspect of biases. And when we read especially books or documents that were created by the British, of course, then we have a lot of bias that comes with that. These are people who came from an era when it was the mainstream thing to think of Africans as being lower than the Europeans and other races, and in fact to rank people and then have the Africans, especially the black Africans, at the bottom. And even when it came to the black Africans, you realize that they still were making the effort of trying to rank which of the black Africans are above which ones. So it's a completely different society these people came from. And also, of course, most of them were motivated. This way of thinking about Africans was often motivated by their need to justify them coming to the land and grabbing the land and exploiting the land, because they deep down they knew that it wasn't actually right to just come to the land of other people and you grab the land and you make it yours just like that. So then they went into this mode of trying to justify that by sometimes saying, "Oh, these people are not as civilized as the Europeans. Maybe we are doing them a favor by colonizing them so that we make them live a better life. Or these people are not as smart as us, or their civilization is at the bottom and it needs to grow and uh, become better and maybe come closer to ours, and that will make it a better civilization." And which, of course, some of these ideas, when you look at them today, they are laughable actually, especially when you think, oh, these people's civilization is at a lower level and ours is at higher. An example of that is when he talks, for example, C.W. Hoblis talks about religion, and he's trying to argue that, oh, the Christian religion is it has evolved to be at very high, and the African religion, the Kikuyu religion in particular, is lower. But when you look at the details of the two religions, they are basically similar. Like, it's a belief in something. That's all it is. It's not even a science. Now, having acknowledged that, we also have another dilemma. So when we read these documents and there are those challenges of racism and biases of the historians, and then of course there are these people who say, oh, if they wrote a document in 1908 that says this, then we should dismiss it because of course it comes from those people. But then again, somebody who tells me that, then they suggest something that is even more problematic. And I'm thinking this is a swinging of the pendulum. Somebody telling me, don't believe that, but you should believe my words. I'm telling you this. It's me who's telling you this. That's not that, as they say in that text, but it is like this, and you just need to believe me, just need to believe my word. Now, the biggest problem I see with, it's me who is telling you this, that's wrong, the way the British or the European wrote, and what I'm thinking in my head is the better version of it, is that unfortunately, our view or our understanding of what was before the arrival of the colonial powers has been so contaminated that we think we know what was actually happening, but most of us are unable to separate what has what is part of what we've learned after and what is actually from the past. And sometimes we look at the past and now we have this lens that is built of what the Europeans brought to us, especially religion. Now we look at the past and we have this lens, and I'll give you an example. I did read a part of C.W. Hobley's book where he talks about the Damathia, this creature that was told among the Kikuyu about it being somewhere, some reptilian animal. And nobody knows for sure what that was. I can't say I know, I don't know. And if you tell me you know, I'm doubtful also, because number one, the Agikuyu society was structured in such a way that information was shared to you based on how far you've gone in your initiation journey. So most people didn't reach there, very few people reached there. And because of that, there is the information known by the general public often was not actually what it was, because there is information the initiated had that the general public did not have. So if you tell me that's not what it is, I think we are on the same boat, basically. Now, I'm talking of the example of that creature. And there's somebody who say that, oh, this was a secret society that was based on the worship of the snake. And some people are so offended, and I understand why they are so offended about that. But unfortunately, the reason they are offended is a very emotional reason. It's not logical. And that's where the problem is. And it's not even just that they are offended and it's emotional, it's just that they are offended because of a lens that they've been given by the British themselves. And here is the thing. In most African societies, for example, the snake was not seen as the evil animal. It wasn't. It wasn't. Actually, in very many African societies, the snake was thought to carry spirits of even the past, the spirits of the departed ancestors, actually. And there was nothing nefarious about dealing with the snake. There was nothing evil about it. And somebody told me there's no way that the Kikuyus would even entertain the idea of being friendly to the snake. And I think the reason he says that is because of the information that, or the education that he has received, and the belief system that not only him, but our parents and our grandparents, and maybe to some extent our great grandparents, abandoned our belief systems. And when I say we here, I mean the Africans in general. And they embraced a foreign belief system. And that foreign belief system was so interested in making our own belief system look so bad that we will be so disgusted about it. Reading a few documents, I've come across statements like the Kikuyu were among the groups of people who, when they saw a snake, often they did not just interpret it to mean that it's evil spirit. They will interpret that maybe that's a spirit of the departed, and sometimes they will give it something and be like, leave us alone, go away, but not in a way that they thought of it to be evil per se. Of course, there was an element of sometimes it could be coming and it's a spirit of the evil, but not always. Many times they saw it as just a spirit that could be of the departed, and it wasn't evil. Maybe it's come for some reason. And this is mentioned in very many documents that talk about the Kikuyu culture before the arrival of the British. Now, when this somebody is so disgusted about the snake being mentioned as being part of the Kikuyu belief system, he's being disgusted because he has a different operating system, and it's the operating system that has been fed to us in the last, say, 100 or 150 years. And that operating system is the operating system of the snake is evil. And so wherever snake is brought up, it has to be evil. And you have to bring yourself to another way of thinking for you to maybe start seeing things the way the people, our ancestors, saw things. Often we have to do that because we have to overcome the operating system that has been fed into us for the last 150 years. And we need to put that aside. And I'm not saying that we have to abandon that operating system. Maybe it's a better operating system. But if we want to understand the society that existed before the arrival of the British, there are a lot of things there are a lot of biases that we've accumulated in the last 150 years that we need to put aside for us to understand that society. Otherwise, we will see most of the things that were happening in that society as evil. And they were not really evil. They were just things that people did Maybe in 100, 200, or 1,000 years from today, there are things we do today that the people of that generation will look back and be like, that was evil. But to us, it's not. It's a way of life. So those are my random thoughts.